Greetings to everyone on my channel. Sit back. Now you will listen to another incredible story about the relationship of a married couple and the incredible exposure of his wife. I will ask you to subscribe to my channel and like it. It's not difficult for you, but it's nice for me. Kostya Davidov is a normal man. It was about 3 years ago. At that time, I worked for a company whose staff consisted of about 50 people. The composition, of course, changed periodically. At some point, a new employee named Anna appeared in our team. She was 42 years old. Anna was a small brunette, about my chest height, moderately plump, with medium-sized breasts. She loved short hairstyles. She almost always cut her hair like a boy. Anna's character turned out to be quite violent. At the very beginning of our acquaintance, we managed to quarrel because I was transferred to an office place that she chose for herself. She left the table she liked so much, but almost with curses and curses, including at me. Fortunately, we didn't have to communicate much at work, so I could just not think much about Anna and not look for an approach to her. I soon found out that Anna, it turns out, is not an easy girl. It turned out that she belongs to an unconventional little, known Christian church, and her husband is a priest of this movement, the founder of a small community. In addition, it turned out that Anna is half, on her mother's side, Jewish. This has already aroused my burning interest. Firstly, I saw in her a person and, moreover, a woman with whom you can talk about serious topics about God, spirituality, and other things in the same spirit. Secondly, I have always had a weakness for women of this nationality, finding them at least interesting, although in many ways uncomfortable. I tried to have a friendly chat with Anna, but she reacted warily. I soon realized that she adheres fanatically enough to the norms of her religion and does not accept other points of view on spiritual issues in principle. When I tried to flirt with her a little, just to cheer myself up and her up, she frankly got angry and became aggressive. Apparently, she saw in this the machinations of the devil, trying to plunge her into the depths of sin. I realized that I was breaking into closed doors, and I left the woman alone. From that moment on, I only allowed myself to greet and say goodbye to her, and, of course, to talk about work issues. However, pretty soon I quit this company, for my own reasons, and our communication with Anna, even business, completely stopped. It's been about 3 months. I could not find a new worthy place of service and stayed at home. It was July evening. Suddenly, the mobile phone rang. An unfamiliar number was displayed. It turned out that it was Anna calling. Of course, I was very surprised. "We need to meet urgently. Come to my place." "Why is that?" "I'll explain later." "Anna, I can't do this. What are the secrets? Why can't you explain everything right now?" She paused. "Okay, then I'll come to you." "Can I?" I, completely confused, was not very willing, but agreed and told her my address. Half an hour later, she rushed to my place in a taxi. I opened the apartment door, and Anna came in, holding 2 large bags in her hands. "I bought some wine and some delicious food here," she explained to me. "Okay, let's sit down and you'll finally tell me everything," I said. When I saw these packages, I began to suspect what was the matter. We settled down in my kitchen, cut snacks, opened red wine, quite expensive, and had a glass. "You know," Anna began, "I'm very confused. There are many important and serious questions. I need answers to them right now. And God told me that you are the person who can help me." "Did God actually say that?" "Yes." Anna smiled a little. Her big, beautiful Jewish eyes looked straight into my soul. It was only then that I noticed that she was wearing a very beautiful dress in bright blue. "Why don't you go to your husband?" "He's gone." The excuse was, It turned out that her husband, his name was Alexei, had a small business in Moscow, which was the source of the family's income. Therefore, Alexei constantly shuttled between our city and the capital. The religious community, which was led by Anna's husband and a little by herself, despite the constant collection of donations, hardly even reached self-sufficiency. They also had a 20-year-old daughter, Natasha, who had been studying at some Moscow university for several years. "Well, why can't you call him?" "It is possible, but I already know roughly what he will answer. And it's not the same at all. And God said he needed to talk to you." "Well, let's talk," I replied. About half an hour was spent in a theological conversation. Anna asked me about my views on spiritual matters, and I answered, trying to be honest and direct. But, of course, I have already solved this riddle. The catch was that Anna was naturally endowed with high attractiveness, but her libido fell into the rigid grip of religious attitudes, her own, and then her husband's. Her body, which was not yet old, persistently wanted to make love, long, stormy, varied, perhaps with different partners. And so it went on for years and decades. But she forbade herself to even think about it, not to mention her husband. Such scissors between what is desired and what is allowed could lead to mental illness. As a result, during her husband's next absence from home, she remembered my quite innocent flirtations and rushed into the night with wine and cheese. Also, of course, all washed and in clean underpants, but at the same time without a conscious desire to make love. I decided that I would not meet her halfway. First of all, because he didn't want to cuckold her husband. Firstly, he didn't seem to deserve it in any way, and secondly, I didn't want to fight with him later because of this. But suddenly Anna asked me directly, very seriously, in her low voice, "Do you like to make love?" In what sense? I'm completely confused. You know, she began haltingly. I really want to be very satisfied. At the same time, she looked so serious and tense, despite the almost finished bottle of wine, that it even made me laugh. It's okay. Relax, I told her. She sounded more confident now. Lyosha, he's against it all. We hardly make love at all, because he's against taking protection, and I'm afraid of getting pregnant again. At my age, it would be completely inappropriate. And in general, he is against all these perversions, and I really want to try it. There? Yeah, she said, blushing. Okay, I'll grant you your wish, but you have to promise that you will follow my orders. Promise? Yes. Anna nodded her head faithfully, without opening her eyes. I took my hand away. Then go to that room. I pointed to the door of the only room in my apartment. Strip naked and wait for me. Do you have any lube in your purse, of course? Yeah, she said shyly and left quickly, even running into the room. Anna was sitting naked on the couch. When she saw me in all my glory, she jumped up as if stung. Wait a minute, I told her. She froze like a pillar of salt. I walked around my sudden lover and looked around from all sides. Without clothes, she seemed even fuller, but still beautiful. She had a waist. The ass looked quite thick. The chest began to sag. The skin didn't seem healthy, and there were wrinkles here and there. There was thick black hair on the pubis. But, of course, the sight of a naked woman at that age still worried me. For some reason, I wanted to try to be rude to her. Anna turned her head and looked at me hopefully. As a result, she washed in the bathroom and, grabbing her purse, ran away from the apartment as quickly as she came. I offered to order her a taxi, but she flatly refused. I'll do everything myself. However, the story did not end there. A month later, Anna called me again. At first, I didn't even want to answer the phone, but then I answered. From her confused words, I realized that her desires had reached a new level. Now she wanted me to come to her house. My husband was absent, as usual, and satisfy not only her, but also her 20-year-old daughter. She had just come to stay with her dad and mom for the summer holidays. I refused the generous offer, but stubborn Anna would not let up. She handed the phone to her daughter. My mother and I really want you to satisfy us, Natasha said in her still not quite adult, uncertain voice. My dream. I hung up the phone. Anna tried to call several more times, but I didn't answer. I understood that my careless experience with Anna had triggered a dangerous mechanism. A passionate woman by nature, who had lived in bodily rigor all her life, went off the rails, and it could end badly not only for her. If she wants to make love so much, can't she find another lover? I don't think she likes me that much. It's just that in her mind, I'm the only one with whom you can really cheat on your husband. So my daughter has already pulled up, I thought. Everything was quiet for another month. One day I got a call from an unknown number and, without thinking, I automatically picked up the phone. You're being listened to, I said. Good evening. This is Alexei. I am Anna's husband. He gave their last name. You work together. I heard a somewhat uncertain, but generally quite courageous voice. Of course, at that moment, I was very besotted. My pranks with someone else's wife could have gone badly sideways for me. I didn't really understand what was on Alexei's mind, but it was unlikely that there was anything good for me. Well, yes, I replied, trying to keep my voice calm. You know, Anna told me everything, and we decided we need to refresh our relationship, you know? In general, can you come to us? Maybe we should come to you? Together with Natasha, if you want. Is she also here, nearby? Wait, wait. It was like an electric shock hit me. What do you mean? I mean, said Alexei, also switching to you, that in order for Anna and me to preserve our relationship and family, we need a threesome with your participation. And even better, if Natasha joins us. However, if you don't want to, she can just sit on the sidelines. Otherwise, she'll do anything for you. I don't understand anything, I replied, nervous. It looks like some kind of trap. It's not a trap, he replied, also nervously. It's just that Anna is completely crazy. She has a strong attraction to you. She wants you to take her back, and it is through this place, the back one, and that I should also be present and participate in this, and our daughter too. Otherwise, she will either leave the family or end up in a mental hospital. I'm just asking you, as a man, to help. He finished on a sincere note. The situation turned out to be paradoxical. The husband, whom I cuckolded, not only did not want to take revenge on me, but also offered to satisfy his wife again, along with him, and his daughter was also a bonus. Strange customs still prevail in some families, I thought. I hung up the phone. Unfortunately, Anna knew where I lived, but neither she nor her husband made any attempts to meet me. There were no more calls either. Quite recently, I accidentally found out that the community led by Alexei and Anna had closed, and they themselves had left the city, apparently to another place. It was only at that moment that I really breathed a sigh of relief and realized that this story was really over for me.